All right, now back to the little project here. So where we left off, we're going to basically be still adding more components, but we're going to start doing some of the steps to get to the testing phase. So the next steps are these 270 ohm resistors. So it says the next step is temporary and will be removed prior to final assembly. Do not be concerned with the neatness. So we're going to be installing these 270 ohm resistors, and we're going to be putting the one out of two 270 ohms between points B and B shown in figure 4. So there's basically where the transformer is going to go. There's a couple of screen printed letters on the board to show where A and A is and B is. So basically, points A and A are over here. So here and here, and then B and B. So they want B and B to have the 270 ohm, and then a regular wire jumper between A and A. So we'll get them resistors out, and that takes care of the resistor. I do have a oddball sitting in here, so I don't have no idea what that's for. There's no other resistor steps in the manual. So we will install this, and they say neatness doesn't matter. So we're going to put one there, one leg. And basically just make a jumper. So we're just going to hop right on over to the other side. Just stick them in there. So that's that. And they say to use a regular jumper wire, so out of a cut resistor that we cut off. So I got plenty of them laying around. So we will make our jumper from A to A. And then as the testing process goes on, these will be removed. So one of the 270 ohm resistors is going to go right in between these chip blocks. So there's R44 here and R45 here. And when them steps come up, we're going to be installing the resistor in between them two. But that is in the future, because we still got a plethora of parts to put in. So it takes care of that step. So now we are going to go over to the small capacitors. So now we're going to open up a new bag. So bag number 2 containing 4.1 UF capacitors, small in yellow or blue in color, blah blah blah, and then we're going to install them in the points listed in the manual. So we're going to be installing these little capacitors in C2, C3, C5, and C6. So we will find them on the board here. So we got to get bag 2 out. So go in the bag of goodies. So here's bag 2. So we're looking for 4 capacitors. So there's only one item in here that has 4 on it, and that's the capacitor, little ceramic jobs. And there's one all by its lonesome, so that is coming up later. So we'll get him out. For later. And we install these guys. So I'll get my scissors out. Okay, C2. There's C2 right there. And I got one filled with solder. How convenient. So, get the solder sucker out. There we go. Nice and clean. So C2 is there. C3 is up here. C5. So C5 is in that bank of resistors, along with C6. So I don't take care of that. Okay, so that takes care of that step. So now we're going to install that remaining lone capacitor. And position is C15. C15. C10, C11, C15 is way over here. Okay, diodes. So we're going to be going over to the diodes section here. So we'll go over there and review that. Okay. So we'll go over to the diodes. So locate back 2, containing 4 1N5392 diodes, red and white tape. So we'll go find the red and white tape in the bag and then put them in their spots. And then the 1N4005 diodes, white and blue tape. So we'll find both of them. So only one is on their tape, the other are loose. And we'll install them in spots D37, D38, D39, D40, and then D41, 42, 43, and 44. So we will go over to the red and white tape. So here's our red and white tape. And then the rest of them are just in there loose. So they're not on their tape. So these are directional because they're a diode, so they only allow electrons to flow in one direction. So normally the band, there's always a band on diodes, and it kind of gives you the direction of flow. So the band is over to my right, so flow is going to come in from the left and go out to the right, and will not allow any flow to go from in this point to go backwards. So it can only go this way, it can't go that way. It can if you overvolt the diode and blow it up. So it is possible. So D37, so it looks like it's going to be all these guys down here. And then, let's see, 41, 58, and then, so 2 banks here of diodes. And of course, match the band with the silk screen. So the silk screen has the band on the right. We will have our band on the right. So some of these spots on these boards, and I found a couple off camera where if you weren't paying close enough attention, it's got like a little jumper line of where the resistor leads should go. So like up here, R14, I put it in traditionally, but didn't see until later this little jumper. And then looking through the board, because I can see better in the light because it's so bright in here, I can see that there's nothing connected to that closest spot next to the resistor. But if you move the board around or you get it in the light, you can see where the traces go. and see where it's supposed to connect to. So one thing I didn't really pay attention to, so instead of yanking out the resistor and trying to stretch it, I just ran a little jumper right over to the next hole. So this is one of the instances where you got two holes right next to each other, and in this instance they are both connected together, so it doesn't matter which one it goes to. Okay, that takes care of them. So the remaining diodes should be the ones in this bag. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are supposed to be 1N005/MUR160/STTA106 diodes. So let's see what flavor these guys are. I can't really see it. IN. So 1N. So 1N. Can't even read it. Crappy screen printing. So these are the 1N4005. Too small of a print for me to read. Especially if it's not very clear to begin with. Takes care of them. So the laundry bell has rung, so I'm going to be right back. So at least you got something to look at. Okay, takes care of that. So you hear the dryer running in the background. Okay, diodes are done. Now for the transistors. So we're going to go and look for bag number 4. And it should have a plethora of transistors in it. So here's bag number 4. So these are going to go basically all up here. And there's a couple that go down here and up here. So there's 51 in total, but 50 are all the same. And then we got this little oddball running around here. I know where he goes. He's going to go up here, Q51. So there's going to be all of this to go in. A lot. Lots of transistors to go in. So it's going to be Q1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. And then Q51, that little one, he's going to go number 51. So that's what's next. So get your coffee, get your ice cream, fall asleep, because this is going to be kind of lengthy. So it doesn't really matter, because these are all the same. So these little transistors, they have a flat front and a round back. So we're going to match all the fronts. So basically all the flats are going to the right for this bank here. And then these ones that go up here, they're going to face down. Same thing with these ones over here, they're going to face toward the right, just like these. So this is going to be tedious. So I'm not going to get too crazy on if they're all straight or doing something weird, because it'll just take forever to be that anal and get them all nice and straight and pretty. So for me, as long as the thing works, I really don't care if the components are all nice and straight. It's not like I'm taking the thing to the electronics show. I'm going to get points taken off for, oh, all your transistors are all cattywampus. Looks like shit. I start picking these up with tweezers. I can't. And you don't have fingernails to grab onto things. It's to be annoying. Like, oh. This thing had you following the order of the screen print. You'd be bouncing around all over the place on this board. You'd be going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. See, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 50. Wow. It'd drive you nuts. Anyway. Okay. Next bank. Getting close to the end. We got these guys down here. There's 4 of them. So we got Q50. Got that one. And then we got this one for Q51. So this is a different little animal. They'll take care of all the transistors. That was a marathon. Get all this clippings out of here. I don't know if any of it is magnetic. Probably not. Nope. I can say one thing about this kit. None of that metallized components. So get this out of here. Okay, so let's see what's next. Transistors. Ooh, LEDs. Okay, LEDs. So we're going to be installing all the LEDs, or to some LEDs. I think these are purple. Purple LEDs. Where are you? Got them. On the bottom. So bring the board back. So install the LEDs. So we'll go over here. Resistors, diodes, LEDs. So bag 3, 36 LEDs. You're going to tell you that they're very sensitive. Don't melt them. So D1, D2, D3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So that takes care of them. So LEDs, they got a long leg, a short leg, and then they got a flat spot on their clear bodies. So it's kind of hard to tell, especially these clear ones, where the flat spot is. So the flat spot is the short leg. So flat spot is the short leg. So on the screen print, flat spot is all at the top of the board, facing to the top. So just give a quick scan. So all of the LEDs are going to go up here in the binary section to do their thing, and then we got this 1 hertz generator that does wild things here. So we'll be putting all of them in there. So stick them in there. So normally, yeah, they fall right out. You gotta spray them too. Sometimes they got a little, you can see it on them, there's a little spot where they welded it to. And sometimes them are quite proud, and they'll actually hold the LED in the board. So LEDs, you definitely want to pay some attention to them and get them nice and flat against the board so that they don't throw light at weird angles. Have to do a couple at a time. So in other news, I put my hurricane lanterns, my solar slash commercial power slash whatever you want to call them, out in the front. And they had the single diode LED in them. And I ran them for about a week. And really wasn't impressed with the light output of them. They weren't as bright and lighting up stuff like the ones I made for the backyard shed. So I went on the Jungle site and I looked up that place, the same company that made the single diodes, and I bought triple diode. And I put them in there, and it made a world of difference. It was incredible. So they're super bright. So I'll have to take out the DSLR with the super wide iris and take some night shots of them, because it lights up the whole porch very nicely. So I'm real happy with that. To the point where I bought another one of them hurricane lanterns. I want to put them in another one in the back shed, right in the middle of the doors. Them ones out in the backyard, they're all 100% solar powered. I got all this stuff to make the front one solar powered, but I haven't done it. Put the panel on the little porch roof and run the wires, and I already got the battery and the charge controller for the battery. And it's going to be that Roy Plow battery that I blew up from overloading it, and then fixed the cells, and then the capacity went down, or it wasn't even at capacity when I tested the amp hours on it. So I says, well, it doesn't really suit my needs for what I was using it for, so I think using that as a solar setup should be pretty good. Just one of the things you gotta experiment with to see if it works. Because in the front, don't get a lot of sun. It's not until late afternoon, and I don't know how well a charge the battery would get with only partial sun. It's only going to get like, I don't know, 2-3 hours of sun. Just one of the things you got to experiment with. See if it works, or just leave it, put it back to commercial power. Right now I just got them running on a 12-volt wall wart. And we got a little solder splatter in it, in the hole. Okay, that takes care of the binary section for them little LEDs. So now we'll do the 1 hertz generator LEDs. I got 2 extras. Isn't that wonderful? 60, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Yep. Yep. Get them all. Probably threw 2 in just in case you burn one out. Or melt one. Or one don't work from the factory. Seen that from time to time. I gotta change the LEDs in my Nixie tube thermometer. The one with the bar graph type tube. It's got 4 LEDs on the bottom. A couple of them are burned out. Well, not really burned out. They stopped transmitting light. Of course, last time I worked on it, I kind of damaged some of the traces in there, so they were just hanging on by a thread. Because one of them boards where the traces are not glued very well to the PCB, and they just uplifted. I think I had to do some bodge wiring on that one to get it them light. Because they were not happy when I was done with them. Okay, that's all the LEDs. Wonderful. Large capacitors. So we got a small, a mid-size, and a large, and they're going to go in C4, C7, and C1. So we got to go back to that one bag that had all the transistors in it, and ceramic capacitors. That one. So small, 47 microfarad. So them are something different. So here's the three we want. I think these guys are inductors. And these guys are going to go over here somewhere. Probably right there on either side. But not right now. So we got a small, medium, large, so that's clearly obvious. So there's our 22, or 2.2, or 22, however you want to say it. Then we got the big boy here, 2200 UF. Okay. So capacitors are polarity sensitive, so capacitors have a stripe, usually gray, and it's a short leg, and it always designates negative. So on the board here, there's no stripe. Some of them do, some of them don't, but on this one, it has a positive lead symbol. So we'll put the long leg that way. Then we got our mid-size. So that goes in C7. So C1, we're looking for C7. I see C4, so that's our small one. There's C7 down here. Okay, So that's the capacitors. Now it's starting to look like a board. So now our next little guy is our voltage regulator. So it's going to be a LM7805. That's going to be a 5-volt regulator. Oh, let's see. Let's go over to the program over here. Check that out. So our voltage regulator. Associated heat sink and hardware, see figure 5, blah blah blah. Using your fingers or sharp nosed pliers, bend the leads as shown in figure 5A. Place in PCB, do not solder. Make sure LM7805 mounting hole lines up with the PCB mounting hole. Next, slide heatsink in between LM7805 and PCB and secure it with number 6-32 screw nut and washer as shown in figure 6 and 9. Making sure heatsink lines up with outside on PCB, then tighten screw. After heatsink and LM7805 are lined up, then tighten, then solder 7805, blah blah blah. Okay. So let me find the pictures. They're going to be all the way on the bottom of this. So there's our voltage regulator. So we got to bend the screws. I mean, to bend the legs like that, and then sandwich it in between the heat sink there. So that'd be fun. Any other goodie? Yep. Then it talks about the buttons. Okay. So go back over to that. I'm gonna find them bits. Get rid of that. Get rid of some of the trash around here. Okay. So here's our bag of what we want, I think. And that's actually bag 8, right? Well, there's the heatsink in there. So there's a typo in the bag. Typo. Number 8. It's actually number 7. There's our 7805. Is that what that says? Yep. So it's not in bag 8. It's in bag 7. So we're going to find all the little jiggly bits. So there's a screw and the washers all together, so that's good. Pin headers, jack, big buttons. Okay. So we gotta line this up, and we gotta line it up with them 3 holes. And of course the capacitor's in the way, so that's brilliant. So we gotta bend this. So our first bend's gonna be right there. That's some stout wires. We gotta move this capacitor out of the way. Because he's right in the way. Okay. So not quite on target. Try that. That's a bit better. So our next one's going to be here. And definitely the opposite. The other side. Oh yeah. First try. Perfect. So we need that. Now it says sandwich this thing in there. Ah, don't fall on the floor, you never find it. Okay. It's nice and snug. Carriage is nice and straight. That looks good. We'll solder that in. Okay. Takes care of that. Looks nice. Okay, connectors. 8-pin header. 3 jumpers, 1 power connector. So, that's our little bag here. This is bag 7, that's supposed to be number 8. So that's our buttons. Here's our header. So our header is going to go down here. Of course now, with all these capacitors in here, now the thing don't sit flat. So this little header gives us our 0 hour display. So that'll be the one here on the left. 3 and 4 is our 12-hour mode. So if you want to read 12 to 12, or if you put it in 4 and 5, which it is right now, it goes into 24-hour mode. So at 1 p.m. it says 1300. And then depending on what side of the country you on, or what side of the planet you are on, 50 or 60 hertz frequency. So here in the US it's 60 hertz. So that's good. That's where it's supposed to be. Okay, so that takes care of our header. Stuff flying all over the place. Move our LEDs out of the way in case we need them. Okay, so that's that. Jumpers, blah blah blah. Power connector mounted on the back. So it's not going to go on this side, it's going to go on this side. So our power connector goes over here. Okay, that's that. Switches. Switch 1, switch 2. So we got 6 of these little guys. It's all going to go on either side of the board. So, do they go on the top of the board or the bottom of the board? Top of the board. Okay. So they go on the top. So these guys got little winglets, so they're going to pretty much snap in the board and stay there. So we got an hour, minute, and hold buttons. Set the time. And the hold button stops the clock from counting. So you can have that perfect on the dot 12 or 0. bent here. Takes care of that. Sets of switches. So what is our next step? It's probably going to do the testing. Yep. Okay, it says, okay, we're at step 10, switches continued. So we did that. At this point, the PCB should have all the parts installed except for the Nixie tubes, a transformer, L1 and L2 chokes. That's what them big black ones were. That looked like big resistors. They're actually chokes. So, did I throw them back in there? I think I did. Yep. So the big black looking things were chokes. So now it's going to be chokes, and all the IC sockets should be empty, no ICs installed. This completes the first and main part of assembly. Before final finish steps, we need to do some testing, preliminary tests. So during the test, we will be applying 9 volts AC power to the PCB. There will be low voltage present, but nothing more hazardous than a 9-volt battery. So, with that said, and ironically, we're at the point where we need that 9-volt AC power supply. So a box has come. It's been sitting here for a couple hours from Mouser Electronics, and this should house the 9-volt transformer. So this guy did not come in the kit. It's probably somewhere in Pete's house. So I had to get one. So we got a triad. So this is a, what does it say? I know it's 9-volt, but you can just get a bunch of part numbers. So this is a 9-volt wall wart. It's a big boy. So 9 volts alternating current at 1.2 milliamps, and it's got a jack. So vertical or floor mount position, type wall wart. That doesn't really mean anything. So that takes care of that. So now, hopefully, the plug is the same. Does it plug in? Oh yeah, baby. So that is awesome. So now that we're at the testing phase, and we've been running for 2 hours now, I think we're going to pause here. And I think we will pick this up Sunday morning, October 13th at 7:45 a.m. And we will do the preliminary test to see if this thing fires up or it smokes. So we'll save that cliffhanger until a little later. So a pretty good run of parts that we put in here. I mean, we did a plethora of parts in here. I mean, we did the remainder of the resistors, so them 270 ohms, or I should say 270 ohm resistors, and then the jumper wires, and then the transistors. So we did 51 of them. So everything here, everything down here, this guy was a different transistor, this guy, these 4 over here. Then we put in all the LEDs, so all 36 of them. And then we came to the capacitors, so we did that in the after the 270 ohm resistor, we put the little ceramics in, so here, here, and here, there. So little guys in there, and we put the bigger capacitors in there. We put the 5-volt voltage regulator in there. Push button switches and the feature header with jumpers. So that's a pretty good run of stuff to be done. So with that, we will end it here for now, and we will see you on the next stream. So take care.